right?
Sounds great.
Yeah, there we are. Numbers are counting up now. That means we're recording. I learned that the first time I did, well, maybe the third or fourth time I did this. But hey, everybody, welcome to the Sustainiacs. I'm Michael Vincent, the Sustainiacs. My other Sustainiac today is Chad Pregracke, right? Did I say that right?
Nailed it, man. It's
I
awesome.
nailed it. You know
Hey,
how I
good.
nailed that? I heard you
Uh,
pronounce it on a video. I think you were standing in like waist deep
Good. Okay.
water.
Well, whatever works. That was homework, so I guess you did a good job. Got an A, man. All
I
good. Thanks for
did.
having me. Yeah.
And hey, a mutual. Well, you know, should we give Rob credit for this? Rob
Thanks,
Busey.
Rob. Yeah.
Thanks, Rob Busey. I don't know how you ran into Chad, but you did, and you got us introduced, and we're gonna talk about what he's doing because hey, you guys are green current solutions. So we'll get into that. Let's talk about that real quick though, right? Because it's near and dear to my heart. I've been in logistics for 35 years, and so this is something that makes a lot of sense to me and should have been done a long time ago, and I love it because now I'm in sustainability and plastics recycling. I am with OPT USA, as a matter of fact, CEO and president of that. So, which is recycling plastics. But so give us the elevator pitch on current solutions. Not too deep. We'll get into that because I want to learn about how you got there.
Yeah. No. What it is, it's a company, and we're making plastic pallets out of all the stuff we take out of the rivers. I run a river cleanup operation, which I know we'll talk about, and that's what led me here. I also plant a lot of trees and done 1.9 million oak trees. Have a nursery, and so
Nice.
mixing doing the right thing for our rivers and keep our oceans clean is what led me to start Green Current Solutions. I'm not the CEO. My wife Tammy, that I lived on a barge with for 18 years. She now runs this company with another lady, and they're kicking ass. And so, yeah, it's that's kind of what we make pallets. I'm going under the working title of Palletgonia because it's catchy, and I go to like
Okay, I
things like
got you.
Tech Expo and things like that. But similar views on
So
business and
wait a minute, Chad. I have to ask this. So when you go to like a trade show, is your swag like are they vests that say Patagonia instead of Patagonia? Is it Patagonia? Do you make that connection or not?
No, I don't. No vest, just a t-shirt. But
I
we
got
just
you.
let's rock the booth, and but people are very receptive to what we're doing, and I mean, talking about it's one thing, but actually doing it's another, and so it's been a long road to start the company, and and but we're enjoying the journey, but it hasn't been easy, that's for sure. But nothing is.
Nothing worthwhile is what I've been told is easy. Is what
I've
I've
never heard that, but I like that.
I've heard that nothing worthwhile. I've had a lot of things that I enjoyed that came really easy, but then there was always like this bullwhip effect at the end of it that wasn't so great. But, yeah. So wait a minute. So and I love these things. The pallets are. I mean, the pictures of are unbelievable. They're pretty. I mean, they're stout. I mean, these are legitimate pallets. This isn't somebody like taping some water bottles together and saying, "Hey, look, it's a pallet." These are legit, and it's growing. How long have you guys been making these pallets?
Well, we started on this journey 4 years ago, so just a
4 years.
couple months. We've been, rolling with it, but it's a super complex, injection molding's super complex, and I'm not an engineer, so we had to hire. I think we've had 14 uh, different consultants that have helped us out in different ways. And I mean, right now we have an aerospace engineer. She's the one with the material processing master's degree in that, so she's been helping out a ton. We've got a chemical engineer on staff, and then I just hired a longtime board member from CH Robinson. He was
Oh,
like,
nice.
I don't know, top 10 people at CH or 15, whatever, vice president guy. It was just time for a change. Been there 31 years. So, logistics is a lot to a sustainable pallet is to getting it back and using it. But so it's a great team of people, and I just love what I do. And yeah, it's amazing.
No, it's really awesome. They look tremendous.
Yeah, they're beefy
Um,
and they're meant to last. And I'm trying to, I just think there's a lot of waste with the wood, specifically in the hardwoods. And that's, 43% of all the hardwood pallets or hardwoods cut down are used for pallets. And you look at a 150-year-old oak tree, and it just is a shame because, pallets definitely don't last 150 years, wood ones. And so that was part of the reason. And that's the 1.9 million trees that planting and growing. That's those are all oaks. So that's big driving force for me is to try to build a pallet that is equal to, and we think we built a really stout, tough pallet.
Yeah, it's interesting, and the use of pallets and or wood, and people don't understand this is okay. So I love your mission, and I love what you said about this because you're cleaning up rivers and you're planting oak trees, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I can help both of these with a product, which is the opportunities, the huge blue ocean of opportunities that sustainability presents to us. I mean, it exemplifies it tremendously. I mean, there's those that say, "Oh, it's a racket," or "It's just going to cost money to try and go sustainable," et cetera. Now, you said, "Wait a minute, this is an opportunity to do some good stuff and build another company and create jobs and a whole new, product and industry and impact the planet in multiple ways." Now you've got these reusable pallets. These are tremendous. I love what you're doing over here. My friend Eric Law at Urban Machine out on the West Coast would love it too because they're creating robots and AI and radar, et cetera. But they've got these robots that they actually take lumber and put it into, and the robots take out all the staples and nails and screws out of the lumber. They just take
Yep,
it all out, and it comes out as clean, ready to use lumber on the other end. It's amazing
yep,
stuff, and like you said,
yeah.
I
And
can
I don't have
find stacks and stacks of pallets that are just sitting in behind warehouses that are wood pallets. They're just there, or they
yeah,
stack them up and burn them in Texas. I've seen that.
yeah, and I don't have anything against logging or loggers or anything like that. I I I made willow furniture when I was in college, and that's what I did, and all that. So I spent a lot of time in the woods, and all that. It just there's just a better way, in my opinion. It solves a big problem that we've had as an organization from an operational standpoint. So I'm not like anti anything. I just think this
Yeah,
is a better way for
I'm
for
with you.
to be it.
I'm with you. I'm not anti-plastics, and it's one of the things we talk about at Ocean Plastic Technologies is that plastics aren't the evil. There's so many benefits from having plastics. There's so many benefits from the use of woods, of
Yeah,
hardwoods and softwoods, et cetera. It is the irresponsible use and our irresponsible, discarding of them that's the issue, right? I mean, there's a smarter way to do it, right? There's just a smarter
yeah.
way to do it and utilize
in,
these things.
in some cases, wood is that's the smart way to go, and some places there is plastic is the way to go. So hoping to fit in somewhere in between,
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. So you said you were at so is that you came out of college and what you said, okay, what were you doing? Maintaining forests? Is that what you were doing? Was doing forestry work with the 1.9 million oaks or talk to me about that. What
No,
was that?
no. Well, so prior to in high school, I started just how it started. I started shell diving with my brother. So shell
Okay.
diving is diving for mussel shells on the Mississippi River. I grew up right by where Interstate 80 and the Mississippi River intersect. And so I did that for 6 summer seasons, and that's spending 8 to 10 hours a day on the bottom of the river, pitch black waters. And I crawled like about a 150-mile stretch over 6 summer seasons of the Mississippi, and then that's how I was saving money to go to college. Once I was in college, to stay in college, and I saw all the trash that accumulated on the islands of the Upper Mississippi River. And there's lots of islands. The river's huge, and so that's where I was camped out saving money with my brother, and that's how I got into cleaning it up because I thought this is the Mississippi River, the most famous river in the world. This is my backyard. I mean, it's totally trash. It's a symbol of the nation, and but it took me 4 years of trying to figure out how to go about getting a river cleanup started. And it started. I was rejected from the state like for 4 years because I just didn't know. It's not their fault. I just didn't know how to approach it or what to do. I was just trying to, yeah, I wouldn't even take my
Right.
calls.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But
Learn it.
anyway,
You got to learn the red tape in the system to get it
yeah,
to the right people.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw a NASCAR race and it gave me an idea to get a sponsor. So I got one sponsor, which was Alcoa, and they started with an A, and they're one of the biggest employers in my hometown here in the Quad Cities. So started there, and I talked to the right person, wouldn't take no for an answer. I showed him pictures of everything that I was living around, barrels and tires and bottles and everything else, and that really helped move it along. So got my first sponsorship, started with a small John boat, and then built it into over the last 26 years into something a lot bigger and still going strong and making a big impact.
Is that Living Lands and Waters River
Yeah.
Cleanups? Is that the name?
Yep. Living
That is
Lands Water.
awesome.
Yeah, and then it's it's been an amazing 26 years now. Been doing it, and then so yeah, I've worked side by side. I just saw the stats the other day, and it's 120 over 127,000 people I've worked with at the cleanups and removed millions of pounds, over 13 million pounds of garbage since we started. And that maybe doesn't sound huge, but pretty much everything's hand dug, and then moved like 3 times to get it out of the river. You gotta dig it, drag it through the woods or to the shore, pile it up, put it in a boat, take it out to the barge, put it on the barge. And yeah, I think there's 6 or 7 barges right now, but each one is used as a different recycling center. So one's just for tires, one's just for the plastics. Then they get your hazmat. I mean, there's different stuff. And so it's an operation. And so it's also, we have dorms, a dormitory and classroom on there as well. So we have
On the
lots of
barges?
yeah. And I just kicked off another one a couple weeks ago. Had a soft opening on a second classroom, and that's dedicated to river careers and clean water. So yeah, the new classroom is really cool. It's out of an old dredge, part of an old steam powered crane. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it sank on me 6 times as I brought it up. It was a big, but so we cut that off. I got the biggest crane. My buddy owns a giant crane company. He came with his biggest crane. A shipyard cut the whole building off. We picked it up, pulled the barge out of it, and then put a new barge under it and set it back down, and then building on it for the last 4 months. But it's really it's badass. But yeah, the whole operation is it's the only one like in the world, and it's when you don't have anything to model it after, it takes a while to build it up.
Yeah. No, but it sounds really, really impressive. So who's coming into these classrooms? Are you and how do they get there? Are these students, environmental science students, that type of
No,
stuff from universities or
no,
what?
no. Yeah, university, but mainly juniors and seniors. Both my parents were teachers. My mom was a sixth grade teacher. My dad was a architectural drafting teacher at the high school vocational, and so kind of come from that background. We have 2 full-time teachers on staff, soon to be 3, with the new classroom, 3 or 4. But no, juniors and seniors, they're impressionistic at that time, and I mean, I forgot a lot from school. There's
Yeah.
so much I forgot, but what I can tell you is almost every field trip I went on, who I sat next to on the bus, like what it was, what to take, just like I remember all the field trips. So I figured if you had a field trip with that, people were going to come to this barge, and our classroom's really eclectic, all sorts of cool shit on the walls. And I mean, it's really a neat place. It's a place where you're just like, wow, and you're on a barge and there's glass garage doors and you can open them up.
Yeah.
And you walk away with a positive message about clean water. That's how you retain something, mainly for, in many cases, I believe, for the rest of your lives. So that's why we focus on juniors and seniors. But we also have alternative spring break for college students, and we have over 100 different universities or colleges come from across the country to help us clean up rivers. We do a lot in Memphis, Tennessee. We're in a big giant backwater where there's a lot of stuff, so we
Yeah.
focus a lot there. And yeah, it's so we like it, and also those students give us energy too. Like they're positive, and we thrive off that as well. And So, it's a two-way street. They give us some time, and we set it up, and yeah, it's
No,
fun.
that's tremendous stuff, and I agree. I agree with you. The power of an actual hands-on field trip is amazing. My favorites were going to the physics labs at Cleveland State. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. We used to, and we'd go to those, and those were tremendous. I love the physics. But so your barges, the barges there are up and down all up and down the Mississippi, is what you said, and they're doing different things. Are the students, are you taking them out into these actual locations to see what reality is? Because when you look at your website, right? So the greencurrentsolutions.com with the Palletgonia, your recycled plastics pallets, the banner picture up there, that's real stuff. I mean, that's not a stage picture, right? I mean,
Oh,
is that on the
no,
Mississippi?
that's the Mississippi River, and just the reason to keep it clean and get it clean is 18 million people get their daily drinking water directly out of the river. That's seen out of the river, and it's from there's 260 different species of fish. I mean, 185 different kinds of reptiles. I mean, it's a flyway for 40% of all the migratory birds, and it's simply put, it shouldn't look like that for so many reasons, and it's a symbol of the country, and so I just
Yeah.
that picture is one of hundreds I've taken in different places. I've worked all over the country. I've worked in New York City and Philadelphia and DC, and so we have our barges, and they're slow moving, but we also have a fleet of workboats. We build our own boats in our welding shop at Living Lands and Waters, and so though we take them wherever it needs to be cleaned up. That's where we go, and so yeah, it's been an exciting uh, 26 years. One of the coolest random things I just did was do you know what the Red Bull flute hog is?
The
It's where you
flute
build
hog?
like the Red Bull flute hog. It's a giant event they hold around the world. I think they do two in the U.S. and they do them in Spain and random places. You build a glider. This sounds crazy, but I just did it. We took second out of 38 teams around the country.
You did?
Um, yeah, last on Saturday, it was great. It was like 30,000 people there. It's going to be on ESPN. I think on August 19th. But
Wait a
anyway,
minute, August 9th. That's like in
oh,
4 days. So August 19th,
yeah,
you take second place?
yeah, 38 teams. There was 39, but they just I don't know if one of them bailed out or broke or something. But yeah, 38 teams, and we were pumped on it. But the reason I did that is because it's right on the water. Our barges are there, and it's caters to a younger audience in some cases. The Red Bull Flute Hog, and we want kids to think what we're doing is cool and fun. And it was a great team building exercise. It was just fun all around, unexpected of how many people were there, and there was tons of boats. It was awesome, man. It was fun, and yeah, I'll send you a picture, but zoom in on the girl's face that is flying. It's our marketing person, and she looks
Okay.
terrified, but she only weighs 115 pounds, so
Well,
good for the glider,
yeah, it's
But
good for the glider. How many
but
people
we
were on
were
the glider? Just her?
just her, but we have a whole
Okay.
team pushing, and you got to do like a skit. It's a big fun event, and a lot of good causes, and certainly with the water and the Ohio River, and it was teed up
Yeah.
very well. And
So this is
but
like because they do the one with you build rafts too, right? And you got to do like whitewater rafting. I saw guys like whitewater rafting on a bed. They like made one that looked like a bed and stuff like that, right?
I don't know, but that sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to check
Yeah.
into that. I don't
Yeah.
know, but we got selected for it. And the prize was you get to go up in the Red Bull helicopter, stunt helicopter, and so
Oh,
it's kind of cool. I mean, just a fun thing to do and bucket list type thing. But anyway, but yeah, that was this weekend. But there's been a lot of really cool things that have happened from the organization, and I think when you're doing good for the world or the country, good things happen, and I certainly feel like that's happened to me personally and the team I work with, and that's the thing. Like
yeah.
I'm doing a podcast with you, man, but I have amazing team of people, and some have been here 19 years, 16 years, 12 years. I mean, uh, we're we do a lot. We might do, I think one year we did over 200 events in 13 states. Was I think a record for a number of events we did, but
So
it's
what
a
are the
go
wait
go.
a minute? What are the events that you guys are doing around there? Just educating people or doing cleanups?
Yeah, no, cleanups, do education, we do tree plantings, we do invasive species removal like honeysuckle and buckthorn on the islands and different. I mean, we do a lot, and you do shows and exhibits, or you might do a Red Bull Flute Hog rando thing. I mean, uh, just a lot of different variety. And the team is just it's awesome. I mean, we do all those events, but you also have to keep your equipment up, and and so and it's great. You get to work a lot, do something good for the country, and work with so many diverse groups of people and companies, and just it's awesome, man. Just things have been great, and that's what all of that is sort of teed up to the leading into the pallets and continuing to try to make a big difference with a problem, and that's where the pallets
Yeah.
came from. The thing is like
So
from an operations, it's a floating recycling center is what it is. And my wife spent a lot of time getting rid of all this stuff, but what we were doing essentially was taking the plastics out of our rivers and throwing them in landfills and
right.
paying. I think we spent $349,000 getting rid of all the mainly plastics. And so we knew there had to be a better way, and no one would take them because they're scared of it's dirty or it's this or it's not consistent or whatever it is. And that's how we led to the pallets because of the trying to solve a problem and then save money for the organization. And that's kind of how we got into doing this.
No, I got you, and that's what I was going to ask you. So the pallets are they a specific type of plastic, or is this all the like the dirty plastics, combined together to make these plastics? Do you
It's
have to
just
sort through the plastics to get specific streams, or
yes, which is another event too. We do like recycle like a rock star. So
okay?
yeah, we hire like DJs to come in, and we set up big tables on barges and tents, and then everything is sorted out. So we take what we find a lot of bulky stuff, 5 gallon buckets and milk crates, which are HDPE, and that's
Yeah,
what ours is now. But we are that's what the chemical engineer is on staff, and then Robin also with the material processing. We know that we can mix other things in there with certain tolerances. So
yeah, yeah.
that's we're working on diversifying that to a certain degree without the structural integrity being jeopardized. So yeah, but right now it's just HDPE and everything's sorted out. But we try to even make that a fun event. And I'll tell you what, when you're sorting out dirty plastics and all that, uh, once the music stops, people are like, "This is not that fun." So, yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So let me ask you this: Is it what is the plastic designated that's in the Mississippi River? Is that considered ocean bound plastic if it's in the Mississippi River that you're recovering, or is that or because those designations in my opinion are kind of bizarre, right? Because some of the ways the stuff is certified just doesn't make any sense to me, right? I mean, it's got to come from a place that doesn't have like a good structural or management of waste plastics. Well, if I'm looking at this picture of the Mississippi River and there's this like island covered in plastics, that to me it isn't a very good system of handling waste, right? So why wouldn't that be considered that?
No, it is ocean bound plastic, but I feel like we're the real. Actually, some of the customers have said, you're the only real ocean bound plastic. That's what they said. I didn't say that, but that's what they
Well,
said
you
because
know what? Here's the thing, Chad, and is the United States is like what number three in producing plastics, but we're also like one of the biggest exporters of plastic. So we'll grab that plastic, send it to Indonesia, and they'll recycle it and send it back. And when they're recycling it in like Jakarta, they call it ocean bound plastics, but it actually came from like you know Norman, Oklahoma, or something like that,
I
right?
was going to say Indiana, but you went Norman.
Or
You went
Indiana. Let's go to Indiana, right?
been to Norman, and that's a great city. I like that city.
It
But
is. It is.
wait, is that University of Oklahoma in Norman, or is it the other one? It's the other one that's their rival. Which one of them is there? But I've been there anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoke there
Yeah.
one
It's
time.
quite. It's quite
Uh,
a ride. I
yes,
mean,
but
that's what people don't understand is what people don't understand, Chad. And I love what you're doing, and we're trying to do similar things at OPT. But what I love what you're doing there is focusing on what's happening here in the United States, because you see so many things where people are like, oh, we got to go over here and get this done. We've got to go to, this third world country or that third world country. And there's some truth to that. There's Reuters, they'll call like the southern hemisphere countries, they call them plastic sponges, right? Because it seems like all the plastics in the world end up there because everybody ships it to like India, et cetera, to be it recycled, and then it just winds up there. But there's so much here in the United States that needs to be cleaned up, and producing products right here is essential to the overall mission, isn't it? I mean, you're reducing the amount of travel and reducing carbon footprint, et cetera, by doing this, right? And creating jobs.
yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like the problem that you're discussing is such a vast, huge problem. And we're just a small blip. We're not solving any problem, but there's just not enough people domestically that are raising the capital and going out there and taking a risk and doing it.
Yeah, but,
And they're
here's the thing, Chad. Don't sell you guys yourself short, because here's the thing. I have a good friend, Shannon Breen, at Freight Vana, and what they do is they plant a tree for every load that you book with them. Right? They're a truckload brokerage company.
yeah,
They have some assets. They do trailer and power only
sure,
type of stuff. But so they do it with what is it? One Tree Planet or something like that is
yeah,
the organization
yeah,
I work with,
yeah.
and
I
you can
work with them.
choose where the tree is. You know who they are. You know who they are.
Yeah,
So, but his philosophy was this: we may not be the Johnny Appleseeds of the world, but we may inspire somebody to do that, or we may inspire somebody to do something else. So, okay, they're doing trees. Maybe I should be pulling plastics out of the Mississippi and making pallets. So you may be this big in plastics, but your impact could be 1,000 times or a million times that by inspiring others. And that's why I applaud
Well,
what you're.
let me throw this back at you. If it
Okay.
wasn't for people like you spreading the message and having the opportunities and doing what you do, then no one would even know that I'd just still be in a John boat out there pulling garbage out. And that's true. I owe a lot to the media and all different forms to moving the whole mission forward to get it to where it is, to have the opportunity to do what we do, and then broadening it out. So I appreciate what you do on this, and it is an honor to be on here. And so everybody plays their part, and you
Yeah.
know the ocean bound stuff. I mean, I love it. I mean, everybody doing their niche and doing what they can is great, and if people can make a career out of it, wonderful. And I I just think there's a lot of great things going on, but there certainly is a lot of immense big problems. And I'm not a solve all. I'm just trying to do what I can with what is obtainable, and make shit happen.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I have my audience is heavily skewed towards logistics, which I love
Uh
because
huh.
35 years
Cool.
in, et cetera. Because logistics and supply chains is what got us in this mess,
Yeah.
and it's what's going to get us out of this mess. Because what you're doing is 100% logistics and supply chains. And you're manufacturing it, right? You're going and you're
Yep.
finding the raw materials and you're bringing it. The whole circularity is what you're doing, which is beautiful and it's perfect, spot on. But all you people in logistics that are doing this type of stuff, the next time you look at your pallets or see a pallet in your warehouse or whatever, look at that wooden pallet and go, let me go look at greencurrentsolutions.com and look at this and go, okay, there's this picture of the Mississippi River. 18 million people, you said, or so on, get their drinking water out of there on a daily basis. Now, doesn't it make sense now that you ingest like a credit card size of plastics every week? of microplastics, right? So buy one of these and use one of these right. And
Yeah.
you guys buy the pallets back when they break, right? Is that right?
Correct. So we also we have a 71,000 square foot facility just for the injection molding, and then on we have 16 acres here. It used to be an old tractor cab plant. I'm in
Oh, okay.
John Deere's headquarters is in my hometown, so a lot of industry is focused on that or around that. But and then we have a 32,000 square foot warehouse, and that's our grinding operation. So that's where we take all the plastics and sort it out, and then grind it there. But yes, we can take the pallets back. We'll buy the pallets back for the cost of the plastics, and then we'll grind them back up and make you a new pallet. But the logistics is a big part of it. Like that's why I brought Rick Kapsner on from CH Robinson, because companies, trying to figure out like wherever there's the with trucking companies, they do the same routes. Like I don't know what they call them, milk runs or something, where they go the same routes or dedicated routes between two plants. That's
Yeah.
where the savings really come into play between a
Oh
plastic
yeah.
pallet and a pallet because it
Absolutely.
lasts so long. And so that's Rick's helping companies figure out where those are and where the cost savings are. And he comes with just lots of knowledge and just generally how things work in logistics. You should have him on sometime. He's awesome guy, super been down. He's done so much work with so many different companies and great guy to talk to but great friend
Send me
too.
introduce us via email after the show. I'd love to speak to him because I know exactly what you're talking about. The backhaul lanes and
Yeah,
those dedicated routes offer all kinds of opportunity for cheap capacity and movement. I mean, there's a
yeah,
reason, like half the capacity in the country is moving empty at any given time because of those, they're moving deadhead miles and that type of stuff, which just burning of a ton of fuel and spewing carbon emissions all over the place, not moving anything. So why not move pallets that can be reground into plastics instead of booking another load where somebody else has to come in and then get one? Yeah, I totally get it. That makes
yeah.
total sense.
All is good, man. No, I just so he's great, and I will. I'll set you up with him. He's a great dude and been super helpful and helping companies really do good, but also save money. And that's a big thing. If it's a win win, if you can save money and do good, and so we
Yeah,
think what we're doing is doing exactly that. And I we our design and everything as far as like it's beefy, long lasting. I traded a camper. I used to go out west a lot and go skiing and save money, sleep in the camper with my wife, whatever. And that was what we did. But we sold our it wasn't super nice camper, but we bought the geekiest minivan you could ever imagine. But it's got a tall ceiling, gets like close to 30 miles to the gallon. So I drove all over for the last 2 months, just delivering these samples all over and just saying, try to break it, do what you need to do. And like, it's awesome because people are like, they're like, these things are, the people are writing back like, and ordering them. And so, I think having that beefy, heavy duty pallet has been helpful, but I have been spending a lot of time, on the road
I mean, but
I,
that's what you got to do, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's entrepreneurial,
yeah.
and you got to get it out there. People got to see this and move it. It's a 4x4 pallet. What's the weight on this thing?
It's 40 by 48. It weighs right between 49 pounds and just under 50 pounds. So it's right
So
in
it's right
between.
there.
And,
Yeah.
like, it's, I've just had really good success with it so far.
Yeah.
And what was we put grip dots on there, like where so the stuff doesn't slide off. We also could put grommets in there, whatever. But the grip dots are not little dots; they're actually happy faces. We put 64 happy faces on this because Homa had a happy palette. Why not? If they got to put a dot, why not put a happy face? So we have 64 of them, and yeah, just trying to keep things light.
Happy
So
fat non-slip happy. That's a great idea. That's a really good idea. And they're
what?
four. I didn't mean 4x4. They're four-way pallets, though, right? I'm looking at the design,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, four
You
way
can
entry.
fork it
Yep,
from all
yep,
four sides.
yep,
Um,
yep.
yeah, those are tremendous. Let me ask you this: was there other? were there other products considered to start making out of the plastics? And how did you wind up with pallets? Just because of the wood
Um,
thing, or were you looking at other situations as well?
Um, the well, I think it goes back to what you were talking about earlier. Just all this stuff getting shipped over or going in landfills, and just trying to do something that you could use a lot of plastics in something, and then the wood thing certainly is part of it, but more so just trying to the sheer bulk of what we're doing, and trying to start it at a big capacity, and so it's living lands and waters is one thing, and this new company is another thing. It's woman owned as well, and that's been a big thing too. My wife runs it with her team, and it sucks because the only thing bad about it is like she was always the boss at home, and I was the boss at Living Lands. We lived on the barge because I was in charge, but now she's the boss at home and here. It's tough, man. It's tough. That's why I like the road. Freedom, man. Just out driving. And
This is being recorded, right? I did mention
it's
that, right?
she's awesome. No, she knows. We actually were just on the road together going to a bunch of different meetings around. Hell, we drove down to Florida and all over the place, man. But and then topped it off with that Red Bull Flute Dog. It was a great. Last week was really couldn't be a better week, man. So, but
That is
yeah,
awesome stuff, and I love the recycle like a rock star deal that you're doing. They're making
yeah.
these. Those are well attended, huh? Those sound like a great time.
Yeah, we just
So,
did a big one in Nashville, and just when our barges start to get filled, we set those up. We have another one, a couple in October,
yeah.
and we've been unloading. Speaking of transportation, we've been unloading cars. Actually, where's stay? Yeah, no. Tomorrow we unload a barge load of cars. The police departments in the Cincinnati area have they got sonar and ask us because we have excavators with grapples that can reach down in 30 foot of water and grab cars. So their dive teams found them, and then we got to work with them because there's when you pull a car up, you don't know exactly what's in it. So and what the license plate is and all that. So we pulled I want to say 20 some cars. But when people think we're pulling cars, they don't all come up in one. Sometimes they just get ripped apart, but the police have to be there to search for evidence and things. So
Oh yeah.
we got a barge load. They're almost hanging over the side, ready to fall back in because they're so piled up. So we're unloading those tomorrow, making more room. We've got a busy fall ahead of us. So
Wow.
yeah,
So you're where out of the Ohio River over in Cincinnati? Is that what
yeah,
you're talking about?
yeah.
No kidding. Okay, I didn't know there was like this problem of cars in the Ohio River.
Well,
That's
most rivers they're stolen or whatever, and or things happen, whatever the reason they're there, and we just have the the equipment to do it. And it's kind of what we do, and how that even transpired was there was a huge tornado that started in Tennessee, went through Kentucky, ended in Indiana. It was the longest F4 tornado in record. It happened 2 Decembers ago, and it went 156 miles, devastated everything in its way, jumped up for just a mile, touched back down, went 222 miles total. And in
wow.
where it crossed the Tennessee River, it threw an entire neighborhood into the water. And so Christmas Day, we had just shut down for the year, taken a break, and literally it was one day after we shut down, this thing happened, December 10th. And so we had fired everything back up, and then we worked straight through the winter. Did the most we've ever done as far as poundage, but we cleaned everything above the water and in the water except for what was on the bottom in this big bay. So then I called all the dive teams from hundreds of miles in every direction, and the Cincinnati dive team, the police dive team, rescue showed up, and they were so pro. They came full fledged, and at the end, I asked this guy, I'm like the sergeant, I'm like, hey, you ever need anything, let me know, man. Thanks so
Yeah.
much, And he was like, actually, I do. So then he said, we just got sonar, and we got 21 cars identified. Would you help us? I was like, absolutely. So, yeah. So that's how that happened.
That is tremendous, dude. I love that story. You guys are doing a lot of work all over the place. So you landed on these. What is the strangest thing that you've ever pulled out of the Mississippi or found when you're doing these things?
Um, you find all sorts of different things like mortar shells from the Civil War.
Really?
Grenade. Like just rando stuff, guns, ATMs, safes. A lot of those Century fireproof safes that you have in your house, like with the doors pried open. Those sort of things.
Yeah.
One cool thing is messages in bottles, and I have one of the world's largest message in a bottle collections. It goes to museums around the country, and
Wait, wait,
so
wait.
it's like
Messages in bottles?
yeah, yeah, because people still send them, man. But they're not like just, hey, this is Tommy, write me. Some of them are, but there's a lot of them that are not meant to be found, that are writing to the world, and like things aren't going good, and just there's a lot of heavy stuff in there too. But
Yeah, people just kind of taking their weight off their shoulders and telling somebody,
yeah,
so it's through a bottle into the thing.
to,
So, what
to
did
the
you say?
universe,
It's one of the
man.
largest collections in the world that you guys have pulled out
Yeah,
of the rivers and stuff.
yeah. I think Britain has the government has a large one that is like their Smithsonian, but I have over 100. 50 of them are on tour. It's not right now. It's not in the museum, but it goes to different places. It travels around, and we made it into something that promotes clean
Wow.
water, but also is very intriguing to people. So
You ever come across something you go, "Whoa, shoot, we got to call the cops."
yeah, here and there, but it's not.
Yeah.
It just part of it. It's not as it happens, but
So I
whatever.
love this video on your website here, man, and that's you in the river picking stuff up, right? I mean, how often does that happen? You've got the CEO, president. Well, I guess you're like, you're the CEO because your wife lets you be, right? But
I'm not the CEO of the new company. No, I don't. I'm doing a lot right now, just helping get it going. But I was just on the barge, and I have to go back there tomorrow. I need to leave to go back, and got a big cleanup to do. And no, I mean, this is the busy season. I'll spend most of my time back on the barge the rest of the year, and things are rolling here, kind of, and I'm not on the technical side of what we do. The team is, but I helped a lot with the revamp. And we bought an old crappy factory and had to fix it up. So I helped a lot with that, and it
yeah,
looks really nice. And yeah, man. And so
that's awesome.
I
So do you
love the
live on
part.
that barge? When you say you got to go back on the barge for the rest of the year, you just living on that barge for the rest of the year, or what?
Yeah, there's a whole team of people that live on there, and some people, like I said, that live 12 years, but everybody has houses on land too. So
Yeah,
people get tired of it; they just go home. Like it's honestly like I never left college. It's kind of like it's dorm style. It's fun, and it's I don't hire people that aren't going to get along with the other people. I hire like-minded people with
yeah.
that everybody
Culture's
has
big
a purpose.
in what you're doing, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I enjoy the people I work with, and we get to live in great places. Cincinnati, by the way, is a great city. What a fantastic.
Awesome.
I really like Cincinnati, and I've been able to live all over in the last 26 years, and so I kind of have a good sense of different cities and different vibes and places, and really Cincinnati just couldn't say enough good things about it. It's super underrated.
Wow, awesome. I love
Cleveland's
it.
legit
Yeah,
too.
Hogopolis used to be Hogopolis, right? Or Porkopolis or whatever it was, right?
Was it? I
Flying
don't
pigs
know.
on the bridge. Oh yeah,
But Cleveland's a great place too. I love those Rust Belt places that are, coming back and trying to saying, hey, this is what we have. Let's make the most of it. And good pride there. Detroit's another one. Where I'm from, the Quad Cities is Rust Belt City. And trying to stay relevant. And a lot of jobs moving to the South and the Carolinas and things. So I take pride in all those places I go. And Cleveland, that's where the Clean Water Act, that's where the Cuyahoga caught on fire in what
yeah,
72, and they started
yeah.
Clean Water Act. I've done cleanups there, and tree plantings and stuff, and I love the sense of community that place has, and it's beautiful, man, on the lake there. It's pretty
Oh yeah,
cool.
especially over by you go over to the islands like by Put in Bay and Middle Bass and all that type of area right there, Sandusky, Catawba Island, etc. Beautiful,
Uh-huh.
beautiful area, especially in the summer, man. It's like being in the Keys in the summer when you're there.
Uh-huh. You just
Beautiful.
mentioned Sandusky. Like being on the road by myself, like driving all over. Somebody or actually a couple people have been like, it's like Tommy Boy. I'm out on the road, but there's no David Spade, or I'm David Spade, or Chris Farley, one of the two, and don't they go to Sandusky Auto Parts, or that's what company it is, and it
Callahan,
just
yeah, Callahan Auto Parts in
going
Sandusky,
in,
yeah.
talking about the pallets and just trying to make it. But nope, I drove all through Ohio on one of my routes, and it's gone for like a week. But man, was it cool! Ohio, Eastern Ohio is beautiful, and through Amish country and up along the lakes, and just delivered. I could put 14 pallets in my minivan. That's what I found out. So but anyway, yeah,
That's
a lot
awesome.
of stuff going on, man.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll get some people to get to your website, greencurrentsolutions.com, and get some order some pallets because these things are tremendous. And when they break, even if you just barely get one, you can sell it back to them for the scrap, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there
and
you go. Because these things are
you
going
can
to
go
wind
to
up all over the place.
you can go to palletgonia.com as well, and it'll go directly to Green Current, and
Oh,
you know,
palletgonia.com is also okay. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
it's catchy, and I'll
I,
be
I
at Pack
love it. I
Expo.
love palletgonia.com is tremendous. I'm telling you. I
Yeah,
mean, you get the Patagonia vest that you see people wearing, and I want a vest that says Palletgonia on it. I like that. I think that's tremendous.
uh,
Uh,
we'll be at Mode X. I think we're doing that show. Is that next year? I think it is next year. And then we're doing Pack Expo as well, and so be working a booth there, and but yeah, just anybody that's interested, please reach out. Love to work with you and make good things happen, and a lot of good things for sustainability with their pallets too. And happy to discuss those with you as well. But really appreciate being on your show, man. And I think, like I said, thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about what we're doing, and all the other great people you have on there, and without having a voice, we wouldn't certainly be successful in so many ways. So I appreciate what you do, man, and nice meeting you.
right on. Nice meeting you, and thank you for what you're doing. And just so people understand, if you go to Green Current Solutions or palletgonia.com, they do a bunch of other stuff, right? I mean, you're not just making pallets, right? And you're cleaning up rivers. You're going. You got the what is it? Living Lands and Waters river cleanups. You can get involved with that type of stuff and reach out to them, find out what they're doing. But you guys are making all kinds of other stuff. I mean, you guys are making. I mean, there's all kinds of different things to make out of plastics, right? Trays, lids, crates, etc. Right? There's a
we
bunch of
can we
products.
can make whatever, and that's the thing. If we don't have the right size, we can get the tooling to do so as long as the volumes are there. Happy to do it. Right now, we're just focused on pallets, but we're open for whatever. If somebody's interested in something and it makes sense, we're more than happy. And Living Lands and Waters, just to clarify, is the river cleanup operation of the trees, and then the company's different that the my wife runs, and but anyway, yeah, man, just love what you do, and really appreciate being on here. It's an honor, and I wish you the best. And I'll set you up with Rick. That's on my team too. He would love to chat with you, man. The guy's he's just a cool guy, man. He just
I
could
love it.
could be any better.
I love it. Check out my new friend Chad Pregracke.
Got it. Got it. Yep.
I
Yep. You
got it,
got
man.
it.
I got it twice. That's awesome. I'm not going to do a third time because I'll mess it up. But hey, everybody, this has been the Sustainiacs. Thanks for watching. We'll catch up next time. Send me messages, whatever you guys, you know how to catch me. And check out greencurrentsolutions.com and palletgonia.com. It's great stuff, man. And he's saving the world. Thank you so much for being on, Chad.
Thank you, man. Thanks again, and we'll keep in touch. And yeah, anytime you want to come out and check it out, please do.
Amen. Next time I'm in the Quad Cities,
Yep,
I'll go
yep.
there. But we're gonna have to. I mean, do you have Italian beef sandwiches there, like in Chicago, or
Not it's not known for that, but there is like a Portillo's that just opened, which
is there a
is Chicago.
Portillo's there? All right, I'm there
Yeah,
then. If there's a Portillo's or an Al's beef, I'll be there. Either one.
gosh,
It,
man, I was
it's
gonna go do a healthy shake, and now I'm like, man, I want to smash a grill. That sounds so much better. Oh my gosh. Well, I'd love to have you here sometime, man. Please come check it out. Know that that door is open, and if you ever want to come check the barge out too, happy to have you. And again, thanks, man. Nice
I'm gonna
meeting you.
go there and I'm gonna recycle like a rock star is what I want to do. That's gonna be that'll be
All
cool. I
right.
want to do that shit. That'd be fun. Maybe fly in a glider or something like that. I don't know. Anyways,
Whatever.
peace and love, everybody. Until next time, Chad. Peace, brother. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. Take care.